The competition is set as the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series heads to Indianapolis Raceway Park for a night of short track racing. This historic city is a place where racing dreams come true. Along with last year's winner Carl Edwards, there are 4 returning winners here tonight looking to reclaim past glories. Terry Cook, Jack Sprague, and Mike Skinner. Who will take the prize? As the sun goes down and the lights come up, we'll go truck racing next on Speed Channel. We're at Indianapolis Raceway Park. The Truck Series is back under the lights for short track racing. Speed Channel's coverage of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series pre-race show is presented by Craftsman. It is a beautiful night for racing. Chamber of Commerce weather for the 14th race of the season. A historic day in the evolution of Toyota racing 1 week ago when Travis Kvapil won in Michigan. We take a look back in our Toyota Spotlight.
I think now that we've done some testing and been to a lot of these racetracks for the first half of the year, I think we know exactly how we need to bring our trucks to the track. And I think in the second half of the year is where we're going to come on strong.
They did change engines in that number 24. They said, we came here for one thing to win this race, so they did change that engine.
Another guy who had a great pit stop, Travis Kvapil, comes out third.
Race for the lead right now.
Mike Skinner and Travis Kvapil just moved right by Bobby Hamilton. Toyota has never won a race in the upper tier of NASCAR.
Look at Travis go to the outside right now. He just drove around the outside of Mike Skinner.
History in the making. The white flag flies for Travis Kvapil, and it will be Travis Kvapil, your winner at Michigan International Speedway. Celebrating Toyota's first ever victory in the upper tier of NASCAR.
Well, Travis Kvapil will have nuts.com on the hood of his truck tonight, and I know you went nuts up there at Michigan, the first big win for Toyota. Now that it's done, summarize how special it was.
Well, I don't know if I can. It's just really cool. I'm honored to get Toyota that first win, and I'm just proud to bring it home for the Bang Racing team and Linex, and everybody was up there cheering us on. So it's cool. Got the orange truck here tonight. Nuts.com's on with us at IRP, and hopefully we can get number 2 here tonight.
Okay, good luck. That is Travis Kvapil, who rolls off third. Wendy?
The fans here in Indianapolis are going crazy with the Waltrip brothers here tonight. The last time you guys raced together in the Truck Series was 1996 in Las Vegas. You finished 20th that night, and Mikey, you finished 4th. What can we expect out of you guys today?
I don't remember that. I thought the last time we run the trucks was at Orlando. Well, anyway, yeah, well, we can expect a lot of fun. We just hope he's up there, I'm back there. I got to catch up with him, but if I do catch up with him, give me some room.
All right, Mikey, you have a little bit better starting spot. What can we expect from you tonight?
Well, we had a great truck in practice today, so Daryl's already warned everyone between he and I that if we get together, they better give us a lot of room. There could be a dispute going. We've got a bet. Whoever loses between us two has to treat the other to lunch at Moonlight in Owensboro, Kentucky. So it's getting pretty serious. But at the end of the day, we got a ma sitting at home watching, making sure her boys don't get too out of whack.
Yep.
Now, what makes this track so unique?
Oh, you just have to run right up neck. I mean, it's crazy. Every short track you ever been to, you want to get as low as you can get. Here, you don't know where to get. You go up high, it feels good. You go down low, it feels good.
It kind of reminds me of the way Darlington used to be. You go in, you can get a stripe here, you can rub the fence. You got to use up every inch of this racetrack, and then sometime you can go down on the bottom, run the apron. So you just have to see how your old piece is handling and then gas her up.
All right, I'm sure it will be quite a show tonight. Rick Allen?
Well, let's take a look at the Ford top 10 point standings. Dennis Setzer on top for the 10th race in a row. Moving up 2 spots was Ted Musgrave into 4th. And our most recent winner from Michigan, Travis Kvapil, sitting in 7th. Hello, everyone. I'm Rick Allen alongside of Phil Parsons and Kenny Wallace. Now, 51 trucks showed up today for 36 spots, Phil.
Rick, 2004 is the most competitive season in the history of the Craftsman Truck Series. In addition to the usual cast of characters, Bobby Hamilton, Dennis Setzer, Ted Musgrave, we've got Darrell and Michael Waltrip. We've got Johnny Benson, Kenny Schrader, Kyle Busch. All those guys are here to run this race. Kenny, the most competitive field, I think, in the history of the Craftsman Truck Series.
There are a lot of great trucks here, but here's what I think tonight is about. I think it could be payback night. This is a short track, one groove. And you remember last time I was with everybody was Gateway International Raceway, St. Louis, Missouri, when David Starr bumped Chad Chaffin out of the way. Now listen, you really want to run up on the wall here. The only way to get by him is to bam. And I think everybody that was beating on each other at St. Louis, it might be payback night. Let's watch them.
Well, we're going to see some interesting racing, as we always do, on short tracks for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. It's race number 14 from Indianapolis Raceway Park. It's the Indianapolis 200 coming up live on Speed. Speed Channel's coverage of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series pre-race show is brought to you by Craftsman, the official tools of NASCAR and the NHRA. One driver who had an interesting call up to the bigs is David Rudiman. We sat down with David earlier this season. David Rudiman signing autographs.
Pole winner earlier this year at Atlanta.
And now let's take a look at that sit-down we had with David Rudiman.
I was just sitting there on the couch and the phone rang. Picked it up and the voice on the other end said it was Darrell Waltrip. I'm like, there's no way. Come on, give me a break. So then I stuttered and stammered and fell over myself for the first couple minutes. He goes, I'm not bothering you, am I? I'm like, no, you're not bothering me at all. And then I finally got it together enough to talk with him where he didn't think I was a complete idiot anyway, and went from having no ride to basically the offer to drive full-time for Darrell Waltrip in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. I underestimated the potential that Jason had, to be honest with you. I learned early in testing that he was more than capable. Just because he didn't have the title as crew chief before didn't mean he wasn't capable of doing the job. And then plus with Bobby Kennedy's guidance, I mean, he's going to get just better and better and better. And we communicate really well. I think if we get off in a direction that we're not supposed to be going in, Bobby's there to kind of help steer us back in the right direction. Jason has been with some different teams that have run really, really well. So he kind of knows what changes he wants to make and what to expect. There's a lot of pressure to perform because, I mean, they see the number. Darrell Waltrip, always associate that with running up front and running well. So it's been neat. I definitely think we're with a great team. I think, obviously I feel like we're the best team out there, but there's a lot of great teams out there, but we're one of the top ones, I think.
And David Rudiman stands by down here after signing some autographs. David, you've learned a lot this year so far in the Truck Series, but talk about this competition tonight here at IRP.
We have like 50 some odd trucks here. I mean, it's just phenomenal, the truck count we've had. The competition is great in the Craftsman Truck Series, but even tonight it's even more so. You got DW and Michael and all the guys in there. It's going to be interesting.
It'd make it great to get your first win here tonight against this field, wouldn't it?
Oh, it'd be great for NTN Bearings and Toyota and Darrell Waltrip Motorsports. Tore up some stuff last couple weeks. I like to get out of here without doing that. I think we'd make DW happy doing that.
Okay, good luck. That is David Rudiman, driver of the 17, guys.
Bobby Hamilton having a discussion with Bobby Hamilton Jr., talking a little bit about racing. Spectacular crowd at Indianapolis Raceway Park for race number 14 for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. We'll be back with more pre-race activities after these messages. Welcome to the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series Power Stroke Diesel 200 on Speed Channel. Spectacular crowd on hand tonight, and they're going to be witnessing a little bit of sibling rivalry tonight as the Waltrip brothers make their second start together on the racetrack in the Truck Series. Now, you guys have also raced against your brothers, Kenny Wallace and Phil Parsons. Both of you guys racing against brothers.
Sure have, and we were talking earlier. The last thing you want to do is run into one of your brothers. And I raced with my brother Benny for about 5 years. I don't think we ever really ran into each other, so we were pretty fortunate.
Yeah, you know, myself, Rusty, and Mike, we raced a lot. I think the first time we did that was out in Phoenix.
Well, let's get the pre-race activities underway. We go down trackside for tonight's invocation and national anthem.
At this time, we would like you all to rise, and gentlemen, remove your caps. Jim Lanning from Motor Racing Outreach, he is the chaplain, is here to deliver tonight's invocation.
Let us pray together. Our Father in heaven, you are an awesome God, and you have given us an awesome night for racing. And Lord, we're so thankful we could be here at IRP. So Lord, we ask that you would bless this event. May this be a safe race for everyone here at the track. May every competitor do their very best. And Lord, we also want to pause and thank you for our country and the freedoms that we have. We ask also that you would bless every armed force, all the armed forces around the world. Keep them safe. And Lord, most of all, we're thankful for Jesus Christ. For our faith in him, we can have eternal life and an abundant life. And it is in his name we give thanks and we pray. Amen.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing. Country music star from Newark, Ohio, Shauna Corder is here to deliver tonight's national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you very much, Shauna. An excellent job.
Another spectacular crowd on hand as the teams are getting ready to load their drivers into the truck to get underway with the Indianapolis 200. Live on Speed. We'll be back. Craftsman's awarding 19 autographed toolboxes this year. You can enter by logging on to speedtv.com. If you guess correctly the winner for next week's race, your name will be entered into a drawing, and if you're selected, you win your very own stock toolbox autographed by that race's winning driver. And Phil, who won for last week's Michigan?
We had over 1,800 entries, and of the 40 that correctly picked Travis Quapple, Cheryl Stemple was drawn from Aurora, West Virginia.
All you have to do, log on to speedtv.com to try to win your own toolbox. Let's go down to Ray Dunlap, standing by with Bobby Hamilton.
Well, thank you, Rick. Bobby Hamilton gets in his Square D Dodge ready to go. Bobby, the last two races you've had a dominant truck but didn't get the victory. What's going to be the key to success to win tonight?
Well, first and foremost, at a place like this, which is a pretty cool racetrack, is be around at the end. So you know yourself, we was talking earlier, it's going to be pit strategy, I think, that wins it, and plus it takes a good truck to do it. But ever since we've unloaded the Square D Dodge, we've went from one way to the other with setups and end up the same thing we unloaded with, so we're pretty happy with it.
Okay, great. He's got Slim Shady, and now let's check in with Wendy, who's with our points leader.
Thanks, Ray. Track position is especially important when we come to IRP. It's not impossible to pass here, but it is very challenging. Dennis, they say the fastest way around is the top groove. What exactly is the key to passing tonight?
probably a truck that'll go to the bottom every once in a while, make a few moves. You know, we worked on a little Duramax Silverado and got things in pretty good shape. You know, gathered a lot of information during practice, and Danny Gill usually makes some good calls during the race, so we'll see how that goes.
All right, that's Dennis Setzer. He goes in tonight with a 33-point lead. Ray?
Well, Wendy, Carl Edwards is getting in his Super Chips Ford ready to go. Carl, you won this race a year ago from 5th, but tonight you start 8th. Is that too far back?
Well, heck no, Ray. We plan on winning this thing again, but I'll tell you what, we've got such stiff competition this year. I mean, these guys are fast, so I just hope we make the right calls in the pits. Jack's here to help us out tonight. Boy, I don't know. This is going to be a heck of a race. I don't even know what's in store. We're just going to do our best.
I'm sure it's going to be great. Every winner of this race has come from 5th or better. Wendy?
Kyle Busch actually made his first Craftsman Truck Series start right here at IRP. Kyle, you're back tonight doing double duty with the Busch Series. How did you get into this truck?
Well, basically, I got to thank Morgan Dollar Motorsports, Axiom, and of course Computer Associates, along with Hendrick Motorsports and the Chevy Silverado folks. You know, everybody's giving me a great opportunity here. Go out there, have some fun, see what we can do with this Chevrolet, and make sure you take it to the front.
All right, that's Kyle Busch. He has another race tomorrow in the Busch Series. Ray?
Well, Wendy, truck number 28, chassis number 28 is old Camel Toe, and Ted Musgrave won at Milwaukee with this one. Ted, is it good enough to win tonight at IRP?
Well, that all depends on how much patience I think you could say the rest of the competitors have got. It seems to be pretty decent on the bottom. I didn't see anybody running the bottom in practice but us, so at least I could get down there and pass, I believe.
What do you think of this competition tonight? Maybe the best truck field we've ever had.
Yeah, we had an awesome race last week at Michigan, but right now with this group of guys, I mean, the Craftsman Truck Series is an understatement as far as, the competition. It's really wild, but I got to think of a big picture. Look for points.
Okay, good luck. That's Ted Musgrave in the Mopar Dodge. Guys?
Well, before we start this race, we've got to fire the engine. So let's go back to trackside for tonight's command.
All right, race fans, are you ready to get this Power Stroke Diesel 200 underway? We just need one more thing, and for that, we will turn to John Kosnick, Director of North American Diesel Business. John?
On behalf of the Ford Super Duty and International Power Stroke, drivers, start your engines.
Fireworks above heads, and the trucks are now fired up. Let's take a look at the U.S. Army starting grid. On the pole for the 24th time, that's a NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series record, Jack Sprague has the top spot. Just on his outside, Bobby Hamilton second in the points.
And starting third, Travis Quapple, your big winner last week, the first winner in a Toyota.
Starting inside row 3, Chad Chaffin, our Dover winner, currently 6th in points. Inside row 4, Denny Hamlin. He's a Joe Gibbs driver development program. His first start with Joe Gibbs' help qualifies on the inside of row number 4. Great job.
Inside row 5, Ted Musgrave will start in the 9th position. That's a pretty good starting spot, seeing as though he moved up 2 spots in the points race this week.
And starting 12th, Mr. Racer, Kenny Schrader. He won a dirt modified race Tuesday night at Farmer City, Illinois. He's back to get more.
Outside row number 7, Shane Mealy led 153 laps here in the Busch race last year and eventually finished 4th. He'll be good tonight.
This time, Kyle Busch will start the truck race, and he will be over the age of 18. Last time he started a truck race, he was not of age to race in NASCAR, but he starts right behind Shane Mealy.
And Matt Crafton starts 18th. I don't think he's much older, but man, is he Mr. Consistency. He's 4th in the points.
Outside row number 10, our 2002 winner of this race, Terry Cook, starts his Power Stroke Diesel Ford for his sponsors race.
Starting 22nd, Hank Parker Jr. has got a couple top 10s this year. That's the son of the famous fisherman, Hank Parker.
Inside row number 13, Steve Park. He made his first ever Craftsman Truck Series start here back in 1996, finished 11th.
Starting 27th, one of my heroes, one of the short track winningest driver all over the United States, and ASA standout is Butch Miller.
Right outside of Butch, Rick Crawford. Actually the second furthest he's had to start all year in the Truck Series.
Inside row number 16, our St. Louis winner you were talking about, Kenny, David Starr, the Spears Manufacturing Chevrolet.
Yeah, it's really good to see the 32nd starter is Johnny Benson. Johnny Benson ran the truck race last week in Michigan and came home 4th.
the end there, Shane Sieg, Chase Montgomery, David Reagan, and Deborah Renshaw all having to use provisionals as 51 trucks tried to qualify for tonight's race. The drivers that missed the field tonight.
Tough break. Kelly Sutton here every week, unfortunately missed the show. Tim Schendel had a great run going with the 31 truck. Unfortunately, they missed the show also.
And you know what's so important about making this race? This is like mini speed weeks. I mean, this is Indianapolis, you know, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Everybody comes up here. I mean, there's 50 cars over at the big track, 50 Busch cars for tomorrow night, and over 50 trucks here. I mean, so everybody loads their stuff up to come here.
Well, an IRP, a very interesting track to run at as well, as we look at the Craftsman track description.
Kenny, we talked about just under 7/10 of a mile, banking in the corners. It's a progressively banked racetrack, so the top of the racetrack has the most banking, and that's the quick way around.
Craftsman race analysis, 36 trucks will be starting tonight.
These trucks can go about 120 or 30 laps on fuel, but most of these drivers want to get in their window at 60 or 70 laps, get in, get some fuel, get tires, and that may be their only pit stop of the night.
We'll ride along with quite a few trucks tonight. Andy Houston and the Team ASE CarQuest Dodge will start in 30th. We'll ride along with him.
DW starts in the 29th position in his Toyota, looking to have a good run tonight, only his second start this year.
We're on board with Terry Cook. He's starting 20th, and you know, he usually runs pretty good here. That'll be a lot of fun watching him.
On board with Michael Waltrip, the number 33 Monaco coaches, number 33. He will start in 15th position.
There's a Federated Auto Parts Chevrolet of Ken Schrader. If it's a race, he's going to run it. Starts 12th.
And boy, does he love Indianapolis, man. Starting on the pole tonight, Jack Sprague, and he is Mr. Short Track, and he's starting on I guess he gets to make his choice, so he's on the outside.
Craftsman win from the pole award by winning tonight's race from the pole position. Jack Sprague can win his team $10,000. If he doesn't win from the pole tonight, then another $2,000 will be added to the prize money. The purse grows in increments of $2,000 until somebody wins the award. $50,000 available from Craftsman this year for that award. Let's go down trackside for final thoughts with Ray Dunlap.
Well, Rick, I think there's three very important points. What Phil said is going to be what happens tonight. About lap 70, these guys will head into the pits. What pit stall will be the best one? This one right here, Jack Sprague's pit. He's in the very first position at the end of pit road. Sprague has won 5 times in his career from the pole, but I think being up front here and being the first guy off pit road will be the secret to winning tonight's race. Wendy?
Ray, I want to talk about paybacks. This track is a little bit larger than a half mile. You might see a lot of bumping on these tight quarters. Remember, at Gateway 3 weeks ago, tempers are still flaring from everything that happened on the on-track incidents that Kenny Wallace mentioned not long ago. Last week at Michigan was not a place to pay back, so you might see that happening tonight. Michigan was too big and too fast. Tonight, you might see drivers cut someone off or possibly even spin someone out. It's certainly not NASCAR approved, but you probably will see someone like Rick Crawford lean on Andy Houston's bumper a little bit harder.
Let's see if we can talk to one of the drivers in tonight's field.
Well, we should have some radio communication with Michael Walter. Let's see what Michael has to say. Michael, Phil Parsons, can you hear me, buddy?
Yeah, Phil, what are you doing?
Well, Kenny and I and Rick are up here just going to have a good time watching you. You had a couple hours of practice at the big track and had to jump in this thing and qualify cold turkey. Did a pretty good job in 15th. You got a pretty good truck, don't you?
It was really neat to drive. The Monaco coach's Chevy was really fun to drive and practice in race trim, Phil. So pretty confident that we can go up through here a ways. I know there's some great trucks ahead of us, but look for the number 33 truck to suck around the very bottom, Phil. I'm going to be a bottom feeder.
Well, you may be the only one down there, Michael. Get ready to go back to work, buddy. Do it.
Okay, y'all have fun up there. Take it easy on my driver.
Yeah. Well, and Jack Sprague sits on the pole, but an interesting decision here.
Yeah, this is very interesting. On some of these tracks where they favor the outside line, NASCAR said, make your choice. Jack Sprague starts on the front little outside.
The green flag flies, and we're underway with the Indianapolis 200 at IRP.
We saw Jack make that same decision earlier this year at Mansfield. He started on the outside of racetrack shape much like this, was able to lead a lot of that race and ended up winning that race. And he's got a pretty good lead right now, about 3 truck lengths over Mike Skinner.
As he comes out of turn number 4, this is the 4th time Jack Sprague has led at IRP.
I'll tell you, as we start this race right now, you already see some trucks going ahead and making their moves on the bottom. It's really hard to get around the flat bottom of the racetrack. I seen Dennis Setzer already going down there.
And right now, Kenny, when the tires are good and fresh, that's the time you want to do it. You got a little more grip than you're going to have a little bit later on. If you're going to try to make a move to the inside, jump by somebody, do it quick.
Now these two guys up front, Jack Sprague and Mike Skinner, they're both multiple winners here at IRP. As a matter of fact, in 95 and 96, nobody else led a lap other than Mike Skinner. Dominated the races here.
Led all 350 of the 350 laps. But hey, let's talk about Johnny Sauter there. Already moved up into the 3rd position. He has a great run going in his own truck.
Yeah, Johnny Sauter in the Curb Record Trucks. That's right. That's a Nashville record company. Produces a lot of stars. But Johnny Sauter, I would say, is a really good short track veteran. He runs really strong, and he decided to build a truck. And right now, he's sitting in 3rd after passing Bobby Hamilton.
Talked to Johnny earlier today, and he came here and tested his Busch car, so he really got a lot of good information that transferred over to this truck. He's got it going tonight so far.
Another guy on the move, the 33 of Michael Waltrip, taking away a couple positions from Dennis Setzer and Ted Musgrave. He's one of the only trucks running on the bottom of the track right now.
Well, he told us he was going to be a bottom feeder because Michael said, hey, everyone's going to be running against the outside wall. If we're going to pass somebody, we're going to have to do it on the bottom. Watch him take a look underneath our man, Kenny Schrader.
I'm sure these guys will talk about this on Monday.
Well, you know, what's the key to winning here is getting your car or truck to turn from the middle out. You know, you get in there with somebody, you want to turn and get underneath of them. You know, keeping the front end turning is the key to winning here.
Jack Sprague trying to check out on the field. He's put almost a second between himself and Mike Skinner.
I love these short track races. I mean, they're already looking at each other, moving and grinding. Look at them dead sideways.
Great. Here's a situation right there. The 43 of Johnny Sauter on the inside trying to make the move on Mike Skinner. Watch how the outside groove is the way to go here. Let's see what he's got to have a lot better truck right here to be able to make this pass. You see him drive up beside him, but Mike Skinner has the momentum on the outside to keep the lead.
What's hard right here is Johnny Sauter not to spin out on the inside. Now Skinner's going to race him as long as he can until he feels like they're going to beat and bang here. Too early to be doing that right now.
This is Johnny Sauter's first time at IRP in a truck.
I'll tell you what, though, when you get inside these, you don't know if you're in a truck, you don't know if you're in a car, you know you got a steering wheel, and you know you got to go fast. So, you know, it's a windshield in anything you drive.
He's got a couple Busch Series starts here, and he's got a 4th place finish a couple years ago, so he knows how to get around this racetrack.
Okay, so what's finally happened here is he's burned his tires off on the bottom trying to make this pass. He's got to ride a little bit. Right now, the caution is out.
First caution of the night flying. Mark McFarland, driving the number 59, got into the wall. We take a look.
See some pretty heavy traffic here. Woo! See, we say Mark, wow.
I'm going to tell you now, that looked like Greg Biffle. I mean, Biffle can save anything. And my gosh, he was dead sideways, and the wall stopped him from spinning out.
Now, Kenny, be careful. You never know who might come and visit us at a place like IRP.
Yeah, I know. And that old Greg Biffle, man, he sets race records here. He's won here before in the Truck Series. He's a champion. But I'm going to tell you, every time I watch a replay, I think that was Biffle in that truck.
Well, Mark McFarland having problems and getting into the wall. The caution actually coming out because of debris, not because of the accident. So NASCAR will clean that up, and we'll be back with more racing from IRP. As they go into turns 3 and 4 under green flag situation, nobody loses positions. Jack Sprague out front, Mike Skinner, and now the race is on for second. Skinner on the outside and Johnny Sauter on the inside.
And you know what? If Sauter's going to get this pass done, he's got to do it quick. He's going to try to use up Skinner here. You look how close they are. They might beat and bang. Whoa, just misses the wall.
Great battle for second. Ray, what's going on with our leader?
Hey, it's not good, Rick. Jack Sprague on the radio saying he's only got 7 cylinders and it feels like it's going to blow up. Things have not been good in motor department here for the 16 the last couple of weeks. He got a good restart there. Skinner came up on him real good, but then Sprague was able to get away. We'll keep our eye on him. Big crash in turn 2. The 33 in the wall hard.
Michael Waltrip getting into the wall in turn number 2, and he comes to a stop, bringing out our second caution of the night.
See Michael moving around, takes the window net out to let the emergency crew know that he's okay, but a lot of damage to that Monaco Chevrolet, front and rear.
Yeah, you're right, Phil. That's the first thing they tell you after a major accident. NASCAR rule, please let your window net down to let everybody know you're okay.
Physically probably okay, but obviously frustrated.
Yeah, it hurts your pride. You know, this is a big week for him. I mean, we're only on lap 16, and you know, just real disappointing. Let's look at the replay.
Take a look at what happened to Michael here. He just looks like he just got sideways. He was right around the 17 of David Rudum. Looked like Ted Musgrave is the one that did the damage to the front of that truck, so Ted Musgrave in the one truck has to have some damage.
It looked like Kenny Schrader was also right there, right behind Michael.
Yeah, there's Michael trying to get on the inside of David Rudum, and it just ran out a little bit of room. You see a hard contact with Ted Musgrave.
I'm going to tell you what, this is going to be a big shakeup in the points. I would have to think that Ted Musgrave has got some damage.
See Michael on the inside. This is Kenny Schrader's on board. Michael's on the inside. Got a little bit loose, had to move up the hill to chase it, didn't want to take out David Ruderman, lost control, made hard contact with the outside wall. Here, unbelievable.
Well, you know, see, that's the hardest thing about short track racing. You can see Michael, this is his quarter panel. We're coming off at turn 4. Let's listen.
You heard the initial contact with the outside wall, and then we heard Ted Musgrave come along. Here's Ted Musgrave in pits. Ray?
Yeah, Phil, they're going to go to work on that right side. Harani and the guys get the tire off there to look inside. He does have a flat right front. They get that off and get it replaced. They'll pull some of that sheet metal out. You can see that the right front fender was in on the tire just a little bit, so they go to work there on the Mopar Dodge. Also heard Steve Park say that he's considering pitting right now because he's so tight. Now the big question is for Sprague, does he give up the track position now to come in and find out whether or not it's just a plug wire that's off on the 16? They're talking it over down here trying to decide, does he give up the track position now? What would you guys do?
Well, I'll tell you, Ray, you know, the only thing I seen on that last restart was Skinner made a shot at him, so that told me there was something wrong because Sprague usually gets really good restarts, but I'd have to take the track position. If he thinks it's going to blow up, go ahead and just run it and blow it up. I mean, you know, and then he's you know, he's taking the lead and going on with it.
Caution number 2 has come out at Indianapolis Raceway Park. Indianapolis 200 underway. We've completed 17 laps. We'll be back for more on Speed. The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series Indianapolis 200 on Speed Channel is brought to you by Craftsman, the official tools of NASCAR and the NHRA. By the next Ford F-150, 2004 Motor Trend Truck of the Year. And by the United States Army, an army of one. Well, Kenny Wallace, you mentioned earlier this might be a night of retaliation, and you were talking bad about Greg Biffle earlier, so I thought, who better to bring into the booth than Greg Biffle?
Greg Biffle is my hero. If you ever watched any highlight reels on any news channel of racing, Greg's always dead sideways and saves it. So, man, what a shame there for Michael Waltrip.
Yeah, I saw those guys going down in the corner, and it looked like the 17, you know, might have crowded him down just a little bit. And it doesn't take much here at IRP, especially on corner entry. It's so, you know, no banking down there, right on corner entry, and it looked like they were pretty low on the track.
Well, Greg, you've won here in both the truck and the Busch car, so you know where your way around this racetrack. Here's another view of it right here. This is Michael's onboard. You see Kenny behind him here.
Yeah, you can see it just. It looked like they made just a little bit of contact. The 17 came down a little bit. And the minute you touch the right front fender on somebody on corner entry, the guy on the bottom's going to spin out.
They continue to clean up where Michael Waltrip's number 33 got into the wall and the fluids were released from the truck. Michael Waltrip also was checked and released from the infield care center.
There's a shot of Kenny Schrader. We should have some radio communication with Kenny. Let's see what he has to say about that accident. Ken Schrader, Phil Parsons, can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you, Phil.
Kenny, you had a pretty good view of our buddy Mikey there. Didn't look too pretty, huh?
No, you know, Mikey and Petrie had that truck really turning good on the bottom. but to do that, you know, that was pretty free, and him and the 17 got together, and it didn't take much to get him turned around.
Now we're going to take a look at this on replay, Kenny, but they were right dead in front of you, and it looked like you had some pretty evasive moves to get out to miss that thing, huh?
Well, I just had to cut loose, you know, slid for a little bit, but first I was going to be a participant in that deal, but Bill Federer truck made it through.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty good job getting through that thing, Kenny. You had a good run here last year. You finished 6th or 7th, so we need to improve on that a little bit. How's the truck?
Truck's good, Bill. Real happy with it. It's a little bit free now, just a little tight in the center, but it'll come off the bottom good. So I'm looking forward to getting a good long green run here.
Yeah, if you're a little free right now, you think the truck's going to tighten up a little bit? It's going to come right into your favor?
Well, I think it will, but you know, all these other guys have done this stuff too. That they're in the same boat we are. So track position's going to be critical here.
All right, Kenny. Good luck, buddy.
Thank you, sir.
Take a look at Michael Waltrip. He's out of the truck, out of the care center. He's all right. Obviously frustrated. Had a great truck tonight. Thought that he might be a player in this one. John Wood now on pit road, making a few adjustments to the number 50. Looked like they might have pulled the spring rubber out of the back with the right rear. Also on pit road making adjustments, the 62 of Steve Park. Ray?
Well, Rick, Park was just way too tight, so they were going to make a track bar adjustment for him. They're going to raise that 2 or 3 rounds, and that'll help loosen him up a little bit. They also took a little bit of wedge out for him there, so Park just was not happy with the way his truck was handling. We're on our way to see if we can find Mikey.
Well, Mikey obviously frustrated. We're under caution number 2 because of his accident in turn number 2. The Monaco Chevrolet of Michael Waltrip getting into the wall on lap 14, and we've been under 7 laps of caution. We'll be back with more racing.
Welcome back to Indianapolis Raceway Park. Tonight is race number 14 of the 2004 Craftsman Truck Series season, and I thought Michael Waltrip's Monaco Chevy was going to be a contender tonight, but Mikey, a lot of damage on that truck. I couldn't believe how hard you hit.
I couldn't either. It really surprised me. I just put myself in a bad position. I trusted that David would give me the corner because I'd driven up beside of him, and you just have to drive your truck. You can't be trying to figure out that you think you know what someone else is going to do, and I just messed up. Sometimes I think I'm not smart enough to do this job, Ray. I had a great truck. The truck was capable of winning. Andy Petrie gave me a Monaco's coach's Chevy that was just right, and I knew it today, and I couldn't wait to race tonight. I was so pumped up, and darn it, I hate when I do dumb things, and that's just a dumb thing. So I don't know. What do? You just
tell us about the Brickyard. Is it going to be better there?
Well, how could it be any worse? So
good point.
We've generally been really smart with our cars and our equipment, and very seldom do I do something this boneheaded. So I'm going to have some counseling over this one.
That's Michael Waltrip, obviously dejected, and I'm telling you guys, the damage on this racetrack, I've never seen anything like that on a small track like this.
Monday nights on Speed, test an armor-plated car. Get tips on how to drive like a spy. Catch the latest road test, most exotic European supercars. You'll get that and a whole lot more. Monday nights on 5th Gear. Off-road, on track, and totally on the edge. 5th Gear Monday nights, 9 Eastern, only on Speed Channel. Wendy?
The 43 truck of Johnny Sauter, the record Chevrolet. He's running in 3rd right now. Of course, he started 6th. He's been moving up fairly quickly. He has complained that his truck is a little loose despite that he's moving up through the pack. So they're talking about what kind of changes they'll be making on that first round of pit stops. They're looking for front grip on that truck. Also, the 99 of Carl Edwards. He tried to get some track time yesterday in the USAC Silver Crown race. Unfortunately, he wrecked fairly early in that race. He has been complaining about his set of tires. He wants this set of tires off on the next round of pit stops. He says, I don't see much passing going on tonight. So Cowboy, Starlin, his crew chief, they're talking about how track position is going to be very important tonight.
We're back underway. Jack Sprague has led all 28 laps run so far.
You know, Ray Dunlap reported that leader right there, Jack Sprague, feels like he has motor problems, but right now he's cornering so well that you could actually see Skinner close up on him. So he may have, but boy, he's really going through the corners.
Even if the 16 truck of Jack Sprague is off down the straightaway, as we've talked the entire race, how difficult it is to pass at this racetrack, Jack Sprague can be down 40 or 50 horsepower and may still be able to keep Mike Skinner behind him.
But inevitably, it's going to come to an end. Wow, look at that. David Ruderman running for 8th spot, gets on the inside of the 03 truck and just about loses it.
We saw that happen to Michael Waltrip. Whoa, he wasn't quite clear that time, but he went ahead and took the spot.
That's Denny Hamlin in the 03 that David Ruderman's been battling with. Little bumper damage there for David Ruderman in the 17.
Kenny Schrader, the 52 Federated Auto Parts Chevrolet, right behind him. Look at Kenny's going to move to the inside. Little contact. That might have been the slide. He might have done the slide job on Kenny. Here we go, side by side for second.
Yeah, you hardly ever see Kenny Schrader do something like that. That was what we talked about at the top of the show. That was a payback.
Yeah, Kenny did not like how the 17 truck pulled out in front of him. He wasn't quite clear, and we saw the damage to the back of the 17 truck. See, Bobby Hamilton hooked the yellow line on the inside of the racetrack.
Well, Greg Biffle, how do you go down to the bottom like that? I mean, do you go to the middle? Do you go all the way underneath the yellow line?
Well, I've never been down that low on the racetrack, but they're 3 wide right now, those trucks are. And, that is tough at IRP, I can tell you that much.
It's Travis Quapple, the 24 truck on the outside of Bobby Hamilton. Travis is where you want to be, on the outside of the racetrack. Bobby tried to make it work on the inside. He tried to get by Skinner. He's losing a little bit of ground each corner.
We talked about the strength of the field in the Open today. Jack Sprague win already on this season. Currently in second, Johnny Sauter trying to give pressure to Jack Sprague for that lead. Mike Skinner, Travis Quapple, Bobby Hamilton, Chad Chapman, all winners in the Truck Series already this year, all running up front.
Well, you know, earlier we had a slide job, we thought, by Kenny Schrader. There's a spin coming off at turn 4. The 22 truck, the 67 trouble off of 4.
Bill Lester getting spun around, the 67 of David Reagan getting into the back of him, and now there's debris on the track. Our third caution of the night has come out.
And boy, is he mad. He's going after somebody. I hope he just calms down and doesn't hit him.
He lost his tail panel, and that's where the rear spoiler is. NASCAR will not allow that truck to stay on the racetrack with that much damage in that part of the race truck dragging the ground.
Yeah, this is a real shame. You know, Bill Lester, he runs really strong and just seems like, you know, always something, you know, going bad right now. Like you said, Phil, they're not going to let that truck go. Here's a replay of what happened.
This happened coming off turn number 4. So watch, he looked like he just got a little bit sideways, almost corrected it. Lost control. Now the 67's going to come along with nowhere to go. Bounced into the outside wall and then bounced into the 22 of Bill Lester.
Yeah, it looked like Bill started, as Harry Gant used to say, he started swarping and had to abort, guys. It got pretty nasty right there.
There is the damage to David Reagan in that 67.
Yeah, see the flat left front tire out there in addition to all the sheet metal damage. He's going to get caught up with the field here and have to make a pit stop.
You know,
put some tires on that truck, Kenny.
Pretty soon here, you know, these guys are going to have to calm down. But a while ago, nothing calmed down. Kenny Schrader gave David Ruderman a slide job. And Kenny usually doesn't do this. Let's take a look at Schrader giving Ruderman a slide job, the left-hand side of your screen.
Now it's going to be the 7th. Watch Kenny.
Okay.
He just drove up beside him because earlier, David Ruderman, we saw him pull up in front of Kenny, didn't quite have him cleared. And so that's what Kenny said, hey, I'm going to pass this truck no matter what, and pretty good job.
So, Greg Biffle, when you do a slide job like that, you know your right front's there. You got to protect it. Kenny could have flattened that right front tire.
Yeah, absolutely could. And I don't think that Kenny meant to probably make that much contact, but I saw Kenny get the gas down and drive up beside Ruderman, which takes his line away coming off the corner and kind of, you know, slid up so he couldn't come down on him. But they made some pretty good contact, kind of jumped tires there a little bit.
Shane Meal in the Earl Smalls Harley Davidson 15 on pit road now for a little bit of work to be done on that truck. Wendy?
Shane Meals in for 4 tires and fuel. They're going to raise the track bar on the right rear and also make an air pressure adjustment. He was running 12th when he came in. We'll see how this all plays out when track position, when these other trucks come down pit road the next caution.
You know, one thing that my brother Rusty Wallace taught me, when you race at Martinsville and everybody starts wrecking and you start training yourself, everybody goes, okay, I have it figured out. We got to quit wrecking so we can get racing. Right now, they're wrecking every other 2 to 3 laps. Pretty soon, these guys are going to figure it out. They got to get to racing, take their spots when they can get them, because right now, you know, as it's going, nobody's going to finish the race. So they got to start racing the racetrack. They got to start training each other.
3 accidents have happened already as we have completed 37 of the 200 laps scheduled at IRP. Bill Lester, the latest casualty. Coming out of turn number 4, Bill Lester slides sideways, can't hold on. David Reagan gets into the back of him. We're under caution number 3 from IRP. We'll be back with more. Be sure to tune in to Speed Monday through Thursday at 10 p.m. Eastern to catch Wind Tunnel with Dave Despain. As always, Dave will take your calls and emails live on virtually any racing subject. And he's got a few very interesting guests in his lineup this week. Junior Johnson and Bill Lester, our most recent caution victim. And Greg, you've probably never been involved in an accident here at IRP.
Absolutely never.
According to Kenny Wallace, every time somebody gets sideways, he reminds him of Greg Biffle. So I'm not sure what that's all about.
Wendy Norris, what's going on?
Chad Chaffin in the 18 truck. He is running a truck that they call Butthead. It's his short track truck, and he's run it 4 times this year and has finished in the top 5 twice. What does that all that means is that Chad Chaffin's been pretty happy with his truck. It's a fairly decent truck, but it is running a little, it's been a little tight tonight. So they're gonna make those adjustments when they do decide to come in. Also, his water temperature has been running a little hot. Rick?
Well, they haven't been able to run very fast so far. We've had a lot of laps of caution, and now the green flag flies, and Jack Sprague continues to lead. 41 laps, Sprague has been out in front.
You know, Sprague said that time, you aren't going to get me on the restart. He got a great jump.
Travis Quapple, the 24 truck, looking at his teammate, the 42 of Mike Skinner. Remember, he passed him late at Michigan last week, went on and won the race. Trying to make it on the inside as Johnny Sauter looked to the inside of Jack Sprague as he looks again as he drives it down to turn number 1 on the bottom.
Side by side for the lead. They're coming out of turn number 2. It's Johnny Sauter on the inside, Jack Sprague on the outside. It's a drag race down the backstretch.
And let me tell you something right now. This 43 truck is not running for points, so Sprague's got to give him a little bit of room. Sprague has the most to lose right now. He takes the lead.
Johnny Sauter becoming our second leader tonight. Jack Sprague had led all of the laps up to that one right there. And now Johnny Sauter out in front of the pack.
That looked like a situation, Kenny and Greg, when you get a fender on somebody and you're on the inside, you can try to move them up the hill a little bit. He moved Jack up the hill a little bit, made himself a little bit of room, went on and took the lead.
Well, this is what this track's good for, isn't it, Greg?
Yeah, just like Kenny was talking about, Johnny's not running for points and Jack is, and you know, Johnny squeezed him up high there a little bit, and instead of, you know, Jack made a right decision to keep his nose clean and get out of there and let him lead some.
And I'm going to tell you what, right now we're on board with Jack Sprague, but Johnny Sauter is flying. I mean, he is gone. He said goodbye.
That truck's running good. They're catching that lap truck of Bill Lester right now.
Yeah, Johnny has driven away to about a 6 or 8 truck length lead in a matter of 1 lap and a half. There you see the big cushion he's got right now over Jack Sprague.
Now coming into play is the 22 of Bill Lester. He had the damage from our last caution, and so all of these trucks are trying to get around him so then they can race to try to catch up to Johnny.
Bill's a little bit crippled right now. We saw the damage to the rear of that truck. It has pushed the back of that truck down, so he's lacking on rear downforce, Greg, as you were mentioning during the caution flag or during the break. And so he's just going to do his best to try to stay out of the way.
Yeah, and it's tough here. They're running, you know, he's running right in the groove, which is the top, but that's the only place for him to run right now.
Right now, I think you see a lot of confidence in this orange truck right here, Travis Quapple. He was your winner last week, the first win for Toyota. He had that thing sideways a lap ago. He's on his horse, and he's riding it for everything it's worth tonight.
Boy, there's nothing like a good run like he had at Michigan and a big win for Toyota to give you some confidence. And Travis was as confident before that race at Michigan as I have ever seen him.
Yeah, and when you win a race, all of a sudden you're telling yourself, hey, I can drive this thing sideways. I can get up on the wheel. And right now he's doing a good job of it.
Side-by-side racing for second, Travis Quapple and the Nuts.com 24 on the inside, Jack Sprague on the outside. They've done this for 3 laps. Now, Greg, is Travis testing Jack right now, saying, okay, I'm going to run beside him. I'm going to show him that I can run here and just see what he does.
Yeah, and you'll change your line a little bit here. I saw Jack move down just a little bit off of 2 when Travis was on the inside of him. That's to keep Travis from getting the throttle down coming up off the corner. Jack's crowding him down, and it's hard to get the gas down when you don't have the room to run up off the corner.
Side-by-side battle for 4th right now. Mike Skinner and Bobby Hamilton.
What you're seeing right now is you're seeing some of these guys that ran really strong at the start. Their tires are going away. We're 50 laps into this race. Everybody's right front, right rear. Everything's starting to heat up. Now you're seeing the good handling trucks starting to come to the front. You see Skinner right there. He's pushing really bad, and Bobby Hamilton's on his inside taking shots at him.
Here's Travis Kvapil again on the inside of Jack Sprague. There's no doubt if Travis Kvapil could get by Jack Sprague, he would more than likely drive away just like Johnny Sauter did. But it's so difficult to pass on this racetrack.
And then they got that lap truck to deal with there coming off the corner.
3 wide as they go down the backstretch. What's going on with Travis Kvapil, Ray?
Well, the problem for him, Rick, is that he's tight on the center off, and that's why he can't get any room to move down there underneath any trucks. Being tight there, he just doesn't have the leverage. So Travis is talking about air pressure and wedge adjustment when they come in for their first pit stop, but he's just tight from the center off.
Bobby Hamilton running on the bottom, on the inside of the yellow line.
The only other driver I've ever seen really successful way down there like that is the legendary Butch Miller that is in this race. He used to do that years ago here, and nobody else could do it. And Bobby Hamilton is always extraordinary. He always tries different chassis setups, different grooves. Guys, everywhere Hamilton goes, he's the top of the track guy. Now he's on the dead bottom.
And Michael Waltrip the same way, Kenny. You know how Michael always likes to go to the top of the racetrack. We saw him early on, right on the bottom of the racetrack, trying to pass trucks.
Fight for 9th and 10th. Kyle Busch in the Axiom 47 on the inside. And just outside of him in the 03, Denny Hamlin.
I'm pretty impressed with this 03 of Denny Hamlin. Now, this is a Joe Gibbs entry, and it's showing up because he's running in the top 10.
Yeah, Joe Gibbs is helping sponsor this truck. It's really E.J. Prescott's truck that we saw Jeff Bodine start the year running. Steve May, the crew chief on this truck, really, really high on Denny Hamlin. He said this kid is really going to be a good one. I think he's 23, 24 years old. Short track driver, runs South Boston, Virginia a lot. I tell you, when you can win at South Boston, you can run these trucks.
One driver who loves side-by-side racing. Behind him is the 43 of Johnny Sauter. It's the first time Johnny Sauter has ever led a race in either the Truck Series or the Busch Series at IRP. We'll be back with more racing live on Speed. Welcome back to the Power Stroke Diesel 200 on Speed Channel. Our leader Johnny Sauter putting some distance between himself and second place Travis Kvapil. Almost 4 seconds separate first and second. And we had a great battle 3 weeks ago at St. Louis, and at the end we saw a lot of bumping and banging, and it actually took place between these 2 trucks, Andy Houston and Rick Crawford.
And we cannot help ourselves but put the speed cameras on this little battle here. I mean, we're 63 laps into a 200-lap race, and watch Crawford as he comes up here. I mean, he's being polite, but if he gets aggravated, he might remember 2 weeks ago at St. Louis.
And remember, Rick Crawford got up on his side and slid down the backstretch, completely up on the side after contact with Andy Houston. There was inadvertent contact, but Rick Crawford was very, very upset after that race. You see Andy, looks like Andy moved to the inside to give the outside to Rick Crawford.
Here's the one truck of Teddy Musgrave. Now remember, he was in that accident with Michael Waltrip. He had to come to pit road, start last, and look at him, Phil, he's going to the front.
Can you see all the damage on the right side of that truck? But it's all behind the wheel. That's the critical part. If it would have damaged the front fender, maybe in front of the wheel, or the wheel. Look at this 3-wide racing. Tracy Hines, the 80 down the inside. Kent Schrader, the middle. Matt Crafton, the 6 truck on the outside.
My gosh, I haven't seen nothing like this in a long time. Now look at this. These are sprint car champions. These guys are used to sliding. Hines and Schrader, I mean, it sounds like we're announcing a dirt car race.
Kenny, you talked at the beginning of the show, this is a one-groove track. What's going on?
Oh, look at Schrader get sideways, goes up in a 38 truck. Brandon Witt. Well, I don't know. I think they said, if I'm going to get anything done, I've got to get it done, but these are too deep. This looks like the start of a heat race.
There's a 15 of Shane Meal on the outside. He joins that battle.
Yeah, and Shane Meal, I mean, he will not give up. But Kenny got really loose getting into the corner last time. He has to back up a little bit and let him come around the outside of too loose on entry.
in the 88. Currently be shown in the 15th position. Ray, what's happening with him?
Well, Rick, Tracy Hines told me before the race started tonight he was definitely not good enough to win in his truck. But if I ever had to bet on somebody, I'd put my money on Tracy Hines. He has won 12 races right here at IRP. That's not the record because Mike Bliss has actually won 13 times here. But Tracy Hines has gone to victory lane here 12 different times.
Bobby Hamilton in that square D Dodge number 4 just took third away from Jack Sprague.
Yeah, I think Jack Sprague is definitely crippled with his engine now. He's not down a cylinder, but he's definitely down some horsepower. He can't quite fight these guys off on the straightaway. His truck is pretty good in the corners, but he's no match down the straightaway.
Well, Greg Biffle, me and you have gone at it over the years. I mean, when your truck gets to pushing here, what can you do as they see him entering the corner? What can you do with a real pushing truck?
Yeah, the leader's in a lot of traffic. I saw him come off turn 2 3 wide there. I mean, you could put some dials of rear brake in the truck to try and, get it to rotate on corner entry a little bit more, and kind of run it up high in the middle of the corner and try and square it off for that exit. It's about all you can do when you get tight.
Johnny Sauter putting a bunch of trucks down, and he had a rough go of it right in front of him. The 20 of Butch Miller making his 109th start in the Truck Series. Kind of in the way of Johnny right now.
Well, everybody right now is in the way of Johnny Sauter. As good as his truck is, he's put some great trucks a lap down. There's Robert Huffman, the number 12 Toyota, had his best career finish in Michigan last week, finished 9th. Johnny put him a lap down. He's put our man Darrell Waltrip a lap down a few laps ago.
Got his eyes set on John Wood up there now.
You know what we're witnessing right now, this 43 truck, this is almost like a cartoon script. I mean, he is catching cars so fast. You don't see this very much in any type of motorsports. This is a special night for that truck right now. He is so dominant that it's incredible. He's coming up on these trucks 5 miles an hour quicker.
Johnny Sauter somewhat in his zone tonight, as athletes will always talk about. One of the guys who's probably not having as much fun as Johnny is Darrell Waltrip. Wendy?
Johnny Sauter is in cruise mode as he passes trucks left and right. One of those trucks was DW. He's had a rough night so far. He's running 32nd a lap down. He has great forward bite, but the truck just won't turn, he says.
Yeah, you know what's really hard about this racetrack, Greg, you want to be neutral getting in so we can turn off, and if you get it set up too tight, you just can't turn.
Absolutely, and if you're loose in at all, if you're free in, and you've got to slow down so much on corner entry, it almost makes you tight off because you got to pick the throttle up so soon. Then you get so much momentum it won't turn on corner exit.
And these turns are so long right here that you really got to have a truck that will rotate. Obviously, Johnny Sauter's truck is rotating right now. He just put a lap on John Wood, a 2-time winner last year.
And not just that, but look at this next truck. I mean, this is a winning Nextel Cup driver, Steve Park. He's all over Steve Park right now. Steve made an early pit stop, and that's what got him towards the back of the pack here.
There's no question Johnny Sauter will get up on the wheel and get everything he can out of this truck. He tested his push car. We got trouble over in turn number 1. There's Ken Schrader. Unbelievable. Ken Schrader, Federated Auto Parts Chevrolet. Looks like the back is shortened up on that thing.
Very similar position to where Michael Waltrip earlier in this race, actually on lap 14, backed into the wall in turn 2, and now Ken Schrader has problems also in turn number 2.
What's going to happen is it's going to put all these teams in their window. All these teams, I think, will be able to make it from here with a pit stop and fuel. So it'll be interesting to see. I know we'll see a lot of pit stops. Whether everyone's going to stop and try to go the rest of the way, it remains to be seen. Let's see if we can take a look at what happened to Kenny. The accident's already happened. I'm not sure what caused Kenny to get turned around there. It looked like he was by himself when we got a good shot of it. Looks like he just...
He might have had a flat. I mean, I don't see Kenny Schrader ever lose any vehicle just like that. Either flat tire, oil. He was loose earlier on entry, but it looked like he really entered pretty high there.
Yeah, Kenny, so much damage to the rear of that truck. He's going to pull it right into the garage area. So hopefully Ray or Wendy can catch up with him, and we'll hear from the horse's mouth exactly what happened to Kenny. Tough break for Kenny. Had a good run here last year, finished 7th.
Johnny Sauter out in front. The last truck that Johnny Sauter passed was the 62 of Steve Park, and so Steve Park will get the free pass because when the caution comes out, the field freezes, and the highest scored truck that is not on the lead lap will get their lap back.
We have 77 laps gone by. Now let's start talking about pit strategy. First of all, we don't have a true 77 green flag laps. We had so many caution flag laps. So know, track position is everything here. I mean, if you can make a pit stop now and kind of ride around in the back and save your tires and go when it's time, you know, that might be a good strategy. But it's really all about tires and a good handling truck.
Kenny, I think we're going to see them all on pit road here. Maybe some of the fellas that stopped 30 or 40 laps ago on the most recent caution may stay out for track position, but they will not be able to make it the entire distance. I think everybody that stops now will probably be in their window that they can make it the rest of the way. And here's our leader right now, Johnny Sauter on pit road.
Johnny Sauter will more than likely lead all of the lead lap trucks onto pit road right now. And coming to them first will be Wendy Norris.
Johnny Sauter's in for 4 tires and fuel. At the beginning of the race, the team got together and had sort of a pep talk. So they said, we're going to have great pit stops tonight, nice and smooth like we're always used to. The truck was a little loose off, so they're making that air pressure adjustment to tighten him up. Ray?
Wendy Bobby Hamilton has driven Slim Shady his truck the last 7 races. He loves his truck, and they don't need to make any adjustments. You see Hamilton on the bottom of your screen. Travis Quapple will get out way ahead of Hamilton here. Quapple did a round and a half on the track bar to go up to try to get his chassis better, but a long stop here for Hamilton.
Problems with Jack Sprague that we talked about and documented earlier. They have the hood up right now trying to figure out if they can fix this. Ray, what's going on?
Well, Rick, these guys all got together over these last 20-some laps and figured out who was going to do what to go under there. They were really figuring that there was a chance that just a plug wire came off, so they will check that. I'll get you an update on the situation there with the number 16 Chevy.
Man, those pit stops.
Jack Sprague comes back out onto the track. Go ahead, Kenny.
Well, those pit stops are always exciting. You know, Jack Sprague running for the championship decide, you know, let's fix it now, because if it really does, you know, if it breaks while he's trying to get to the checker flag, you know, he'll lose a lot of points.
A week ago at Michigan, Travis Quapple had a phenomenal pit stop to bring him out in 3rd before the final restart. And then on that final restart, he was able to get by Mike Skinner and eventually bring home the first victory for Toyota. And Travis Quapple had a great stop here. The Indianapolis 200 continues live on Speed Channel. Welcome back to Indianapolis Raceway Park. We continue with the Indianapolis 200 live on Speed. 4th caution coming out. Kenny Schrader getting spun around in turn 1, backing it into the wall on lap 76. And as they come out of turn number 4, we're back to racing. Travis Quapple leads them to the green.
We've seen how dominant the 43 of Johnny Sauter was, but we haven't seen what he could do next to Travis Quapple. Travis was mired back there in a little bit of traffic, so 3 wide. John Wood on the inside trying to get by. Well, we'll see. Johnny Sauter now has clear racetrack in front of him, other than Travis Quapple. We'll see what he can do to catch Travis and see how good he is now.
Absolutely. John's racing for that free pass spot. You see him racing real hard there with the 13 truck.
Yeah, John Wood, the 50 truck there. He wants to be the first truck 1 lap down, so if the caution flag comes out, he will get the free pass.
And
what do you think about that free pass, Kenny? What do you like?
Well, you know, I heard Ryan Newman say he didn't like the free pass, but he did like it at Pocono because he was 2 laps down. So I think it's a good and a bad thing. But hey, I mean, it's a good thing because it benefits a lot of people. But I got to tell you something right now. If we make it through the next 5 laps, I'm going to be impressed. These guys are 2 and 3 wide, Greg.
Yeah, they are really racing hard. And Johnny was catching Travis quite. You know, he enters that corner over there a lot faster than Travis does. But Travis is a lot better up off the corner.
Look at this. 3 wide.
99 of Carl Edwards in between Paul White, the 13, Chad Chaffin, the 18 on the outside.
Young guys not afraid to mix it up right now.
No, they're not. With those new tires, I mean, all these trucks are sticking to the racetrack real well. And like you said, you talked earlier, that's when the bottom works, is when they got all that grip.
Mike Skinner trying to work by the Power Stroke Diesel number 10 of Terry Cook. Trying to do it the tough way on the inside of the racetrack.
I am very impressed right now. These guys are doing a good job. I mean, they are stacked up 2 and 3 wide. Right here, look at this. I mean, this looks like a 6-lap dash for cash right now. We're 88 laps into a 200-lap race. Let's see if they can keep on going.
Side-by-side racing for 5th position. A great fight between Mike Skinner and Terry Cook.
There's teammates right behind Terry Cook, the 46 Dennis Setzer, the 47 of Kyle Busch, side by side, both out of Morgan Dollar Motorsports. Well, Dennis is making some time on the inside, Kenny.
Yeah, and I was just getting ready to say, you know, in reality, this is what short track racing is all about. Every corner there's about to be a wreck. You know, we're so used to these mile-and-a-half racetracks that we've been running that, you know, oh, here they are side by side. This is short track racing. This is the way it is every single lap.
Race for the lead, Travis Quapple in the 14 out in front of Johnny Sauter. Now, how often in the middle of the race do you start thinking about the points race as we're past halfway, 14th race of a 200 race? And problems with John Wood in the number 50. He spins in turn number 2. John Wood not touched by any other truck, but he gets spun around and he's on the inside now as the caution flag will fly once again. Ray?
Hey, Rick, want to show you something here real quick. If you guys can come to my camera, I want to let you know when the guys get ready to do a pit stop, of course, they have their lug nuts glued up like this. But here's the problem. When John Wood came in for his second stop, they took this tire off of his truck and then they put a spring rubber in. Well, when you do that and you put the exact same tire back on the truck, you have to pick up all the lug nuts by hand and put them back on when you want to put the same tire back on. That's why John Wood was way back in the pack, and that's why he got involved in that crash a little bit earlier. That's what's got him so frustrated right now, that he's far back. He wanted that lucky dog, of course, but it's because they had to put the same tire back on that put him to the back of the pack.
Now, you would think that John Wood would get his lap back, but Greg Biffle, why did he not get his lap back?
Well, he was the cause of the caution, and he was in that free pass spot and spun, and I didn't see exactly how he spun, but he was in that free pass spot and spun, so he caused the caution, so he won't get that free pass.
Now, is that the Dale Earnhardt Jr. rule to this?
Well, I think that's almost going a lap down and spin out to get a caution.
Yeah, that was a different reason there. He was going to go a couple laps down with a flat tire, and he went ahead and admitted that he spun the car out on purpose at Bristol, right?
That's right. He did a fine job if he did that.
So caution number 5 has come out at IRP on lap 91. We're about halfway with the Indianapolis 200. Travis Quapple continues to be on point in the Indianapolis 200. We're closing in on 100 laps, the halfway point. And Johnny Sauter, it's only a matter of time before he makes the pass.
Johnny Sauter right now is chewing his steering wheel off. You know, he's blown 7 motors in the Busch Grand National Series. He wants this lead back as he goes for it.
Side by side for the lead. Johnny Sauter's been up front. Travis Quapple's held the spot for a while, but Johnny took it right back.
Well, it looked like Travis, before this most recent caution, was able to keep his lead a little bit, but Johnny was on a mission on this last restart. As you see Bobby Hamilton, the Ford truck, move in on Travis Quapple also.
Square D Dodge of Bobby Hamilton coming into the mix. We've only had 3 different leaders. Jack Sprague, Johnny Sauter, and Travis Quapple have led all of the laps at IRP. With more on Bobby Hamilton, Ray Dunlap.
Well, Rick, we saw on that pit stop that Hamilton's stop was a little bit slow. The problem was 2 lug nuts fell off of the right rear, and they had to reach down, pick them up, and put them back on there. Now, Bobby's had a couple of top 5s here, a 4th and a 3rd, but he has never led at IRP. He said, tonight we're going to get those bonus points. So I don't think it's going to be too long till you see the Square D Dodge push it and try to get up front to get those 5 extra points.
Now, if he's already talking about 5 bonus points, that sounds to me like he's points racing, which he says he never does.
Well, you know, Bobby Hamilton is a wild and woolly veteran. I mean, you know, on these short track races, you don't see Bobby putting the fender to anybody. He's sitting there running 3rd right now behind, you know, the 2 guys in front of him, Quapple and Sauter. He's going to ride. He's going to get his truck right. He's going to get to the lead later on.
And we saw at Gateway that he's racing for wins. We saw him drive to the outside of Shane Neal, end up just about wiping his truck out in one of those green-white checker finishes.
Yeah, and what did he do there? He didn't dominate. He comes back towards the end. And that's the way he does it all the time.
Side by side for 6th. 46 of Dennis Setzer, our points leader, on the inside. And spinning in front of the grandstands is Deborah Renshaw in the in the number 29.
heavy traffic back there. I'm not sure exactly what happened to Deborah. Appears to be only a single truck incident.
The window net down for Deborah Renshaw, signaling to NASCAR that she's all right. She's going to try to bring the truck around on her own. We'll be back. Let's take a closer look at the premier division of NASCAR in our Nextel Cup update. Top 10 in points in the Nextel Cup. Greg?
Yeah, it's really, the Cup Series this year has been so tough. And this new point system, I mean, you see Jimmy Johnson with a pretty good lead there. I'm sure he's not looking forward to those last 10 races of the season. I can tell you that.
Greg, the big battle is going to be for 10th. Everybody wants to get in that top 10 to get in that top final 10 race shootout.
Absolutely. And there's it's the guys that are, 11th through 14th that are racing their heart out. And the same with Bobby and Kevin Harvick there.
Great crowd on hand here at IRP for the truck race. Tomorrow, they'll be qualifying for the Busch race. And on Sunday, we're at the Brickyard. And we've got two drivers, Greg Biffle, Kenny Wallace, both be involved in that race at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Wendy?
Just wanted to update you on the 47 of Kyle Busch. He's running 8th right now. When they came in for that round of pit stop on lap 80, they went up 2 rounds on the track bar to loosen him up because his truck has been tight in the center. They also made an air pressure adjustment. He feels he does not have anything for our leader, Johnny Sauter. He said he just needs to get out and clean air. Right behind him sits Carl Edwards in the 9th spot. He's been fighting a loose condition. They came in on lap 80 as well. 1 round in the left rear to tighten him up on the track bar also, and an air pressure adjustment 1 pound out of the right front. He says it feels a lot better, but it still needs some more adjusting. So you can see the 99 truck, they're going to pit again on lap 140 according to crew chief Kevin Starlin. He just told Carl Edwards to be patient. Ray Dunlap.
Hey, Wendy, give you a quick update on Jack Sprague. His truck is clear at the back of the field right now, but they went up on the track bar as they just pitted here and also put a rubber for him in the right rear. Those things will all loosen up his truck a little bit. He's way too tight. As far as the engine condition, they did find a broken spring on the right side towards the rear, so he is down 1 cylinder on that 16. Going to be another long night for Jack Sprague.
A broken valve spring, that means that that cylinder is not up to par, so instead of having, let's say, 700 horsepower, he'll have about 50. He'll be down 50 horsepower because basically when you break that valve spring, Greg Biffle, it means you've lost a cylinder.
Absolutely, and it's still maybe making some power. Obviously, it's still running. Their worst case right now is to drop that valve down into the engine. So if they lose the inner spring, which they normally have 2 valve springs, an inner and an outer spring, as long as that spring stays on there and that keeper keeps that thing up in the cylinder head, he'll be able to run the rest of the race, but be down on power.
If it's an inner spring, then that's probably top end is where it would really affect it, which is in the end of the straightaway. If it's an outer spring, that would be more damage and probably hurt the power a little bit more. But as you mentioned, Greg, it's not like he's completely down on 7th cylinder. He is making some power on that cylinder, but not quite what it was when the race started.
Absolutely.
Our 6th caution came out for Deborah Renshaw, the 29. You saw her go behind the wall. Out in front, it is Johnny Sauter taking the green flag as we restart at IRP.
While Bobby Hamilton did not get a good restart, he's back there in 3rd spot, but behind a lap truck, he didn't get going.
He's got the 07 of Shane Sieg right in front of him. Shane can make it difficult for Bobby to try to get by if he runs the top of the racetrack, which is the groove. You see there's Kyle Busch, the 47 truck on the outside going by the 20 of Butch Miller.
Riding along with Darrell Waltrip in the number 11 Toyota.
One thing I really like about these in-car cameras is that you can, if you're a race car driver throughout the Midwest, Greg Biffle, and you want to learn how to use the throttle and use the brake, now, our hero here, Darrell Waltrip, really wasn't up to speed, but you can listen to the throttle, listen to how they drive.
Absolutely, and you could tell Darrell's truck's really tight because he's having to wait to put that throttle down coming off the corner. You can hear him messing with the throttle, so his truck really tight like we talked about earlier tonight.
There's a 46 Dennis Setzer going after the 23 of Johnny Benson. That's for the 4th position right there.
Side by side for 4th. Short track ace Dennis Setzer nosing in front of Johnny Benson, takes the position away, and now Mike Skinner follows.
You know, we never mentioned, I don't think, that Johnny Benson had to go to the very back of the pack at the start of this race because of an engine change. He actually broke an engine in practice, got very limited amount of practice time. It hurt his qualifying effort, but he's got a pretty good race truck right now.
Yeah, he does, and he got the track position. Obviously, in the pits, he got that track position back, whether either taking 2 tires or just fuel on that one stop, and he's hanging in there really well right now.
Wendy, what's going on with Johnny?
Actually, Greg, Johnny did come in on lap 84 with the rest of the trucks, but in order to get that track position, you were right, they took fuel only. They also made a wedge adjustment, but fuel only on Johnny Benson's truck.
You know, Johnny Benson is trying to rekindle Bill Davis Racing. The trucks have struggled. His teammate is Bill Lester, who had the problems earlier. So they hired Johnny Benson to go to Michigan last week. He had a strong run in. He finished 4th. He's here tonight. He's trying to get the team Bill Davis Racing up in the front.
Jack Chapman on the inside of Mike Skinner. Looking to go 3 wide again as Carl Edwards brings the Super Chips 4th up behind those 2.
It's so difficult to make these passes on the inside, even if your truck's a little bit quicker. But look at the little shot Chad got, but he still can't quite clear Mike Skinner.
Now, the reason it's so difficult to make these passes on the bottom is that there's no banking on the bottom. Up on top, you know, it's highly banked. It's easier to run up there. So the only way you can do it is gas the car or gas the truck like you've seen him do.
Greg, I never thought this racetrack was highly banked on the outside. Have you?
It's called a wall. It's not. Yeah, that's the wall. It's 90 degrees. But you know what happens here is the guy that's trying to make the pass, a lot of times will move down to the inside and try and make the pass to the guy, which opens up the outside, and the guy behind him will occupy that spot and trap the guy down the inside. They'll end up losing the spot trying to make a pass.
Little bumping and banging, short track racing. Tracy Hines on the inside of John Wood. John Wood a lap down. Andy Houston now almost getting into the side of Jack Sprague. Sprague stays on the inside. Again, Jack Sprague having problems with the 16 tonight. He is still on the lead lap.
Looked like they made contact right there. The 16 and the 2, they made contact a lap before that. So Jack working awfully hard to try to get by the 2 of Andy Houston.
You know, I think Jack Sprague's best chance tonight is to try to do something with a caution, maybe take on tires early, get track position. That way he can, you know, have a decent finish. Because right now he's not going to go to the front.
Kenny, I think the pitting's done. And we heard Cowboy talk about they're going to pit at lap 140. I don't think you're getting, Greg, I don't think these leaders are going to pit anymore, do you?
I don't think so. You know, and Johnny Sauter is just driving off, and I mean, it looks like he's about 3/10 faster than the field right now. It's an awesome truck tonight.
Johnny Sauter not wanting to relinquish the lead that he has, almost 2 seconds over Travis Quapple. We'll be back with more from Indianapolis Raceway Park. Coverage of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series Indianapolis 200 on Speed Channel is brought to you by Federated Auto Parts Stores. Professional advice, brand names. Johnny Benson was running very high, up in the top 5, and had problems going into turn number 1. It looked like a flat left rear tire, and he's in the pits under green, making a stop.
And you know, you see the disgust out of the crew members. Once again, this is a crew that is trying to dig themselves out of a big hole. I feel bad for Johnny and Bill Davis Racing. Definitely going to have a good top 10 run, and it's spoiled. Right now, we're going to look at a replay and see how he got this left rear flat.
You wonder if maybe there was some contact from another truck here. Watch the 6 up. See Matt Crafton there. I'm not sure that they made contact. That may not have caused the tire to go down. I think maybe Johnny, since that he had a tire going down. So we see a battle for the second position right now as Bobby Hamilton tries to move to the inside of Travis Quapple. I think Johnny knew he had a flat going down, a tire going down, and just was trying to get out of the way.
Side by side for second, Bobby Hamilton in the Square D Dodge on the inside. Travis Quapple going on the outside line as they make their way around turns 3 and 4.
I'll tell you what, Travis Quapple winning that race last week. He's running stronger tonight. He's been very consistent. He was your truck champion last year. You know, he has a lot to prove because last year he won the championship in Jack Sprague's truck. His team said, hey, look, you may have won the championship, but you haven't won enough races. They kicked him out, hurt his feelings. And the kid comes back in this Toyota truck, is whipping butt this year. So, I mean, you know, he's proved them all wrong.
Making the pass, Bobby Hamilton takes the spot away. Travis Kvapil won the championship and only won one race last year.
That's all it took. That's all it took was to win one race. And he's already won a race this year, and Sprague has won one too. So you know it had to light a fire underneath of him.
What a great point battle we had last year, though. Dennis Setzer only lost by 9 points to Travis Kvapil. It came down to a final restart with about 2 or 3 laps to go at Homestead.
Wendy, what's happening?
You'll see the tire on Johnny Benson's truck that came off. The left rear was flat. You see right there, they circled it. The puncture that was on Johnny Benson's tire. That whole theory of gaining track position did not play out for Johnny Benson. He did not take tires on the last round of pit stops.
Johnny Benson having to pit under green. And so that put him down 2 laps with that repair. Up in front, it's Johnny Sauter. And behind him, Bobby Hamilton has moved into the 2nd spot. He mentioned before the race, he would like to lead at IRP. Live at 4:30 p.m. on Speed Channel. See the stars of the NASCAR Nextel Cup Series practice for the final time before the running of Sunday's Brickyard 400. It's happy hour. NASCAR Nextel Cup Series tomorrow live on Speed Channel, 4:30 p.m. Eastern. Darrell Waltrip helping us out. Our next truck race is the Tundra 200. And that's August 14th. Nashville Super Speedway, 5 p.m. Eastern. That is live on Speed Channel. Johnny Sauter, our leader, now coming into heavy lap traffic. And oh, so close to Andy Houston in the Team SC CarQuest Dodge.
He's already put some great trucks a lap down. Jack Sprague, he put a lap down a moment ago. David Rudeman, former winner here. Terry Cook, Robert Huffman. A lot of great trucks. Now Andy Houston going a lap down to Johnny Sauter.
Now, Greg Biffle, I have a question for you. When you have a truck this dominant, can you run over people by accident when you're that much quicker than them?
Absolutely, and it happened to me last week in the Busch race at Pikes Peak. I mean, I was coming up closing on that traffic so fast with the good tires, and Kyle Busch came down and didn't know I was there. And, you know, it can happen in a hurry.
Wendy?
Johnny Sauter is just making his way through traffic, passing the lap trucks. I want to tell you a little story about Johnny Sauter and his co-owner, Kerry Agadanian. Johnny wanted to prove how good of a driver he is. He didn't feel he's gotten the shot lately. So what did they do? They pulled all their own money together out of their own pockets, and they decided to come racing. Joe Shear Jr. built this truck for its 9th race, and so far it's been proving a race leader.
Hey, Wendy, I want to add on Johnny Sauter, too. Guys, think about this. In 1998, we had 14 different winners in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. So far this year, 9 different winners. If Sauter were able to hold on, he'd be the 10th winner of this season, and we're just halfway. And think about the guys that have not won yet this year. Names like Mike Skinner, Matt Crafton. How about John Wood, a former winner? Steve Parker, Shane Meal. I think we might set a record this year, guys, for different winners in this series.
And at the beginning of the show, we talked about how strong this very field is right here at IRP.
Yep, all the regulars for 2004, such a great field. We had basically all the trucks back from last year with the addition of 7 Toyota teams. And now, as we mentioned earlier, we had Darrell and Michael and Kenny Schrader in the show. We didn't even mention Johnny Sauter. He's one of the guys that runs the Busch Series regularly. Started out running the Cup Series this year. Ended up getting out of that ride with Richard Childress so he could concentrate on the Busch Series. And he's winning this thing going away.
And Phil, you and I added 2 All-Stars to the booth in Greg Biffle and Kenny Wallace.
Absolutely, Busch Series winners.
You know, this is a feel-good story. Let me tell you why. Because when you are in the Cup Series, you are kind of, you know, you are employed to do a job. And if that car does not get the job, it's like, okay, whose fault is it? Well, they blamed him. They blamed him. So he says, hey, I can weld, I can wire, I can build these things. This is what he's doing right now. I mean, hey, he's getting the job done tonight, so you got to give credit where it's due.
Now, we talk about dominant performances. Dominant performances in IRP would include Mike Skinner in 1995 and 1996, where he led every single lap. But a more dominant performance is one young Greg Biffle, who won this race. And there were only 9 trucks on the lead lap when you won that race. But before, you had on that Ray Dunlap.
Hey, Rick, just watch that Ford truck. Bobby Hamilton just slid backwards a couple of spots. I saw Travis Quapple passed him, and also Dennis Setzer got by him. The problem is Hamilton's a little bit loose on the long run. He thought the truck was good at the beginning of this run, but it just gets a little bit looser each time. We see the 18, Dickey's Dodge makes his way around it, so Hamilton losing 3 or 4 spots.
Yeah, I think Bobby Hamilton's got more problems right now than just a chassis that's gone haywire. Chad Chapman just drove by him into the corner. I don't know, maybe he's got a brake problem or something like that. I don't know if he could be that loose getting in the corner that they had to back off so much. But Johnny Sauter is not having any trouble right now, as Dennis Setzer now has moved into second, but over 7 seconds behind.
Johnny Sauter continuing to put trucks a lap down. Moving into the top 10, Tracy Hines running very strong. Shane Meal also in the top 10. Young Kyle Busch currently in 7th position. Moving backwards, Bobby Hamilton in 5th, trying to hold on to that spot. We'll be back with more racing from IRP. Tomorrow at 5:30 p.m. Eastern on Speed Channel, the stars of the NASCAR Busch Series hit the track for qualifying for the Kroger 200. NASCAR Busch Series qualifying from IRP at 5:30 p.m. Eastern tomorrow on Speed Channel. And that is immediately following Cup Happy Hour. One driver that's extremely happy right now is Johnny Sauter. Great truck running out in front. He's got almost 10 seconds in front of second place Dennis Setzer, who's on the move.
And here's what's scary right now. This 43 truck, if he completes this pass, he's going to go after the top 10 trucks. The 43 of Johnny Sauter, once he goes by the 03 of Denny Hamlin right here, he's clear sailing to go after the top 10 trucks.
And I had mentioned earlier the shortest number of trucks on the lead lap was Greg Biffle, who only had 9 when he won this race back in '99. And now on pit road, you see the 1 of 10 Musgrave.
Flat right rear tire for Ted Musgrave. It really overcome that accident earlier that he was involved in with Michael Waltrip. But this flat tire it's just going to kill him here, because you're not going to be able to make up the 2 laps he's probably going to go down as a result of this flat tire, just like Johnny Benson. Johnny will not be able to overcome that flat left rear tire he had that put him 2 laps down.
Yeah, you get a flat tire on a short track like this, and your night's over. And there must be a little bit of debris or something out there, for two trucks like that to get flat. So it's flat left rear and now flat right rear.
I noticed Ted Musgrave's right rear had a big rub mark on it. Greg, either you run over something, or when you're rubbing on people, you cut a sidewall down or anything.
Knock the valve stem out of it, something like that. So a great battle right there. You see Mike Skinner and Kyle Busch drive by the Ford truck of Bobby Hamilton. Bobby continues to backslide. We saw him in the position earlier. He's all the way down into the 7th position right now.
Kyle Busch currently 2nd in the points race in the NASCAR Busch Series. Having a great run right now. He's moved up into the top 6.
We'll see him again tomorrow for qualifying for the Busch Series race here tomorrow night at IRP.
I'm really surprised right there. 3 wide, the 50 truck of John Wood, Greg Biffle. That's a Roush truck. He usually runs really strong here. What do you see wrong with him tonight?
Well, I really don't know what John's having troubles with. I didn't get a chance to get over and talk to him, but it looks like he's a little bit tight. He's up high in the middle of the corner. He's kind of diming it off, and we hear a lot of trucks tight. That's probably what's happened with him tonight, although he was a little bit loose earlier tonight when he spun out over there.
Let's have our pit road have us fall back through our top 5, starting with Wendy Norris.
Our first truck is Johnny Sauter, our leader. He's just simply cruising along tonight. They said they do not plan to come back in for pit stops, but I was looking over the shoulder of the gas man calculating fuel mileage, and on the calculator it read lap 198, so they're 2 laps shy right now, right?
Hey, Wendy, everything going very well for Dennis Setzer. He's driving a truck called Fillmore. They ran this truck back at Dover. Now, Setzer has finished second in 14 different races in his career. Currently running second right now. Will be a great points night for the 46. Now, how about Travis Quappo in the 24? Last week's winner up at Michigan. So far tonight, they've improved that truck by going up on the track bar to try to make it handle a little bit better. Each time they've pitted, Travis has said the truck has gotten better. He's currently running in third. How about Chad Chaffin, Wendy?
Chad Chaffin was really tight at the beginning of the race, but he's been fast all night. He currently runs fourth. There was a few laps there while we were in break that he was the fastest truck on the track. He's pretty happy, and the truck's handling good, right?
Mike Skinner has 16 wins in his career. He's driving chassis number 11 tonight. He has said that his truck is tight on exit. That's the problem. They haven't really been able to improve too much on that little Tundra for him tonight. But Skinner hanging in there for a good solid top 5.
Of those 16 wins to Mike Skinner's career, 2 of those came on this track. 33 laps remain. The Indianapolis 200 at Indianapolis Raceway Park. Welcome back to the Power Stroke Diesel 200 live on speed. Johnny Sauter about to take over. Well, he's got the lead, but he's about to take over Carl Edwards, who's in 11th position right now.
This may be one of the most critical times right here for Johnny Sauter. He's got to have patience right now. Just take it easy. He's got almost a 10-second lead. Just take his time to get by these guys. They're racing hard. They want to stay on the lead lap, but he's got to pick and choose his spots here. Do not make contact with either one of these trucks. Don't go through the middle, Johnny.
Caution has come out. There is debris on the track. NASCAR is calling. And that brings out caution number 7.
Now you see why those guys were racing so hard in front of him, in front of the leader, trying to stay on the lead lap, and they were able to do that. They caught the caution.
And I will say that this is a break for Johnny Sauter. Why? Because we only have 25 laps to go. Johnny doesn't want to have to deal with lap traffic. Here's debris on the racetrack, so it really is out there, guys.
This is a break for him. He had a 10-second lead, and you're saying the caution flag is going to be a break for him, Kenny?
Well, I feel like he didn't want to go through traffic. To me, as strong as his truck is, he could just go on. I mean, that's the way I look at it.
How about you, Greg? Would you rather have a 10-second lead or throw a caution with 25 to go?
Well, I don't want the caution, but if I'm 2 laps short on fuel, I'm hoping for a caution, and that's what we heard earlier. He possibly might have been a couple laps short on fuel.
So there's a whole bunch of different scenarios. Yeah, you're right. We found out he was going to be 2 laps short. I don't know, he's so fast that, he could have taken a chance of running out of fuel, wrecking, but I don't know. You're right. Maybe they might gang up on him and go for the lead.
Well, I'm surrounded by drivers up here. As
arguing.
As a driver, Johnny Sauter has to look in his rearview mirror right now and see what we would call a short track ace in the Truck Series. Dennis Setzer right behind him, and now from a 10-second gap to, he's right on my bumper.
Well, Johnny knows he's got a better truck because his crew chief was telling him, hey, you're continuing to run the fastest laps of the race. Here we got some guys coming down pit road here, which is a bit of a surprise, Ray.
Hey, these guys had to wait to the very last second to decide for Travis Quampo and his Nuts.com Toyota. They weren't sure what to do. Travis said, I hate to give up that track position. What should we do? And they said at the very last second, come on, let's do it. Let's try to win this thing. Now for Bobby Hamilton and his Square D Dodge, he had no choice. He was going backwards rapidly. And Bobby said, you know what we need? We want an air pressure adjustment on the right front and 4 tires for his truck.
The 99 truck of Carl Edwards was in for 4 tires and adjustments. He was getting ready to go a lap down, so that caution was perfect timing for Carl Edwards. They went a ½ pound down on the right front and around up on the track bar. They also stabbed it with a little fuel just to be safe.
Okay, Ken, you still happy now that the caution came out? Everybody behind you pitted. You're Johnny Sauter, you're leading. At a 10-second lead now, everybody behind you's pitted, put fresh tires on.
Drama, total drama. Everybody has tires except Sauter.
The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series is very dramatic. We'll be back. Coverage of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series Indianapolis 200 on Speed Channel is brought to you by Craftsman, the official tools of NASCAR and the NHRA. Interesting turn of events. Johnny Sauter stays out. all of the other trucks on the lead lap come in.
Well, Dennis Setzer, the second place truck, also stayed out. So you've got the first two trucks with 100 laps on their tires. Everybody else on the lead lap, fresh tires. I think they're sitting ducks.
You took the words out of my mouth. Exactly, Phil. I was going to say, I'm going to stick my neck out and say that they're sitting ducks out there with new tires behind them. The same scenario happened last week at Pikes Peak for me, and I drove by those guys with no problems at all. They're going to have about 18 laps to get it done. I don't think they're going to have a problem handling those leaders.
Well, here's my opinion right now. The 43 truck, it's like you're racing on dirt and you have no mirror, you don't know what's going to happen. Okay, you're either a hero or a zero. He didn't know everybody was going to pit, and they all pitted, so what do you do?
He was so far in front of them too, Kenny. He had no indication that they were even thinking about pitting, because he went by the entrance to pit road probably several seconds before the first one of those trucks ducked into the pits.
Of the trucks that did come into pit road, Travis Quapple was the first off. Second out of his pit stop was the 18 of Chad Chaffin. Wendy, what happened with him?
No gain or loss on the 18 truck of Chad Chaffin. He came in fourth and went out fourth. They took 4 tires and a little bit of fuel. They decided to make some adjustments as long as they were here. 1 round down on the track bar and an air pressure adjustment. Chad says the truck is fast.
Well, Greg Biffle, you've been watching the monitor. How much quicker is new tires over old tires?
I think that they're about a half a second faster, but I'll tell you what, he has been that much faster in the field. Here they come.
We'll find out who's faster. We'll find out if Johnny Sauter can hold off fresh tires. He and Dennis Setzer out in front of a lot of trucks that have got a lot of fresh rubber.
He got a great restart. He pulled a couple truck links over Dennis Setzer, maybe 3 or 4. Remember, Dennis Setzer is also on the same situation, the same tires that he put on lap 80. So he's got a little bit of a cushion before the trucks with fresh tires, Travis Quapple. Right now, Travis Quapple, the first truck with fresh tires, is probably 8 trucks behind him.
Yeah, it's going to be 2 in a row for Travis Quapple is what it's going to be. He looks like he's going to, he's got a good truck.
But I'm going to tell you what, you ought to see it. It's 3 and 4 wide. If we get cautions, he might win the race. They're 4 wide going down the back straightaway.
That's going to buy him some time. Every time they get caution laps, that's less green flag laps, that those new tires can be made to work.
17 laps of racing to go, 3 wide as they come out of turn number 4.
But in the meanwhile, the 43 truck of Johnny Sauter is checked out. Now, right now, you see Quapple coming off of turn 2. He's got to get past Setzer. Look at this. He's going for second.
Travis is going to have to do it on the bottom of the racetrack. There goes the fresh tires right there. Dennis fighting back on the outside. Travis should be able to beat him through this corner.
Side by side going into turn number 1. Travis Quapple takes over second, away from the 46 of Dennis Setzer, and coming with him, the 18 of Chad Chaffin and the 4 of Bobby Hamilton.
He's got clean racetrack. What I'm telling you, Greg and Kenny, Johnny Sauter is still running some extremely fast laps. The last 2 laps he's been under 23 flat. Right?
Hey, Phil, they went up 2 rounds on the track bar for Travis Quapple to try to loosen him up a little bit. He said, that's what I need to make a run on this thing. They put scuff tires on. They had about 6 laps on those scuffs for the number 24. As far as Bobby Hamilton and the 18 of Chad Chaffin, both of those guys are teammates. No chassis adjustments for them, but they both also have scuff tires.
Side-by-side racing taking place for 10th place. That's Kyle Busch on the inside of Tracy Hines. The Power Stroke Diesel 200 continues live on speed. We'll be back with a great finish. Welcome back to the Indianapolis 200 live at IRP. Johnny Sauter's lead shrinking ever so slightly, but it is eliminating.
It sure is. Travis Quapple is catching him at about a pace of about 0.2 of a second a lap.
And problems on the backstretch. Steve Park spins as he comes out of turn number 2, and that brings out caution number 8.
Well, that's going to eliminate the lead that Johnny Sauter had, but he's going to let his tires cool a little bit, and we're going to have that many less laps to finish this thing.
And we're not going to have lap trucks on the inside, so it's going to be a shootout. These guys, you know, Johnny still has a fast truck, but those new tires, I mean, they may have the air pressure up.
See if we can take a look at what happened to Steve Park. Looks like he was racing with David Ruderman coming off turn number 2. Just lost control of the back end of it.
On board with Darrell Waltrip.
Right out in front of him. Darrell sees the 62 of Steve Parks spin to the inside. There they are, side by side, right behind that group. Steve cut the wheel to try to stay off of David Ruderman, just much like Darrell Waltrip did earlier, and spun himself out.
Steve Parks' crew dejected. We'll be back with more of the Power Stroke Diesel 200 after this. Welcome back to the Power Stroke Diesel 200. The caution lights are out on the pace truck. It makes its way down pit road. There are 5 laps remaining. Johnny Sauter in front.
Hey, let me tell you something. I don't know about you guys, but I got goosebumps. There's fresh tires, there's old tires. Who's going to win it?
All the fans are on their feet. A packed house here.
Johnny Sauter back into the gas. The green flag flies. Travis Quaffle, Chad Chapman, Bobby Hamilton, and the 99 of Carl Edwards are your top 5.
A good restart by Johnny Sauter. Let's see what the new tires of Travis Quaffle can do with them.
Johnny Sauter again an impressive restart as he puts 3 truck links between himself and Travis Quaffle.
Or Travis really gains through the center of the corner, but then Johnny gets off the corner good.
I don't think I've seen anything like this in a long time. How can 100-lap tires outrun brand new tires? Johnny Sauter's got the most incredible setup underneath this truck I've seen in a long time. 100-lap tires are beating brand new tires.
Hey, Kenny, you and Greg aren't going to remember that for tomorrow night's Busch race, are you?
No, absolutely not.
Hey, let me tell you something. Johnny Sauter has something nobody's seen in a long time. This is unbelievable.
Absolutely.
Under 3 laps to go for Johnny Sauter. Travis Quaffle closing the gap now as they go down the backstretch. There he comes, Travis Quaffle. On the inside, Travis Quaffle tries to make the pass. Johnny Sauter holds him off as they go through 3 and 4.
Something's wrong with it.
Something wrong with Sauter. Looking like he's losing all his forward might up off the corner. Let's watch and see if he sets him up here. 2 to go.
Here he goes on the inside.
Travis Quaffle
got a good bite
to make the pass.
Johnny blocked him a little bit there, used a little bit of the racetrack up, coming down for the white flag this time.
Johnny Sauter has nothing to lose. These guys are racing for the championship. Hell no!
Contact! The white flag flies. They're side by side as they go across the start-finish line.
Watch
on
Chad
the outside, Chad Chapman making the pass. He tries to take it away on the outside. On the inside, it's Travis Quaffle. Johnny Sauter trying to hold on the final lap. They're side by side. Chapman on the outside makes the move.
Unbelievable!
As they come out of turn number 4 to be a drag race to the start-finish line. And Chad Chapman will win the Power Stroke Diesel 200.
What a job by Chad Chapman. Johnny Sauter was so concerned about Travis Quaffle that Chad Chapman.
They're wrecking all over in turn 1. They've gone crazy. They've gone crazy, fans. I'll tell you what, I haven't seen anything like this in a long time.
Not only in turn 1, but also in the booth. I think Kenny Wallace has gone crazy. But we're very welcome to have him up here. Oh, Kenny, you make this job more fun than any man should ever be able to do it. Chad Chapman having as much fun as anyone can have right now as he took a page out of the book of his team owner, Bobby Hamilton. You pass him on the high side to win the race.
I think Chad just backed into the outside wall trying to do a donut there.
That'll be okay. He's got the trophy and the money. The check's written in his name.
Here's how this race ended. Chad Chapman already crossing the start-finish line, and then the melee takes place as they go across the start-finish line.
Well, I hope Dennis Setter got a spot. Oh, Setter, he was going after him.
Another view of it.
Looks like Setzer ran out of room coming up off the corner.
Coming down for the checkered flag right here. As you mentioned, they're going crazy, Kenny. The truck's everywhere in this quarter.
I'm telling you what, when you come off of turn 4, if you just stay in the gas and get your spot, that's what old Setzer did. Here's Terry Cliff.
This is a driver's perspective. That's probably something a little bit different than Kenny Wallace and Greg Biffle have seen a long ways from up top in the booth. We'll be back.
back in my workshop at home, I've got 5 or 6 of these mag mats. It's a really handy item because you can put anything that's metal on it. If you want, you can fold it up like this and stuff it in your back pocket to take it somewhere else. Or just in your workshop, you take it like this, slap it on the side of your toolbox, and anytime you've got a tool around and you want to keep it handy, stick it right there on the mag mat. You know exactly where it's at. They're handy, organized, right where you left them.
Speed Channel's coverage of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series post-race show is presented by Craftsman. One gentleman who really wants to get out of the truck is Chad Chaffin. He's standing by with Wendy Norris.
An amazing night, an amazing finish for Chad Chaffin. He only led 1 lap, but it was the most important one. 2 wins go in the books now for Chad Chaffin. Chad, what did you think about that crazy last lap?
Well, the 24 made a move on Johnny, and Johnny tried to block him, and that just opened me up a lane, and it just worked out. I mean, what can you say? That's just racing. Sometimes you win them, sometimes you don't. Tonight was our night.
Now, it took you quite a long time after your Dover win to get that first victory. Does it seem to come a little bit easier now?
Well, when you got an awesome team, you got Dodge trucks, you got BHR, Bobby Hamilton, Kip McCord, it's not that hard. I mean, this team's for real, our organization's for real. I'm just tickled to death. I like to say last night for Dickies Camo, so Dickies.com, see where you can buy your camo.
Let's go to Ray Dunlap. An exciting night for Chad Chaffin.
Well, I'll tell you what, Wendy, it's kind of hard to figure out what question to ask Johnny Sauter because I've never seen a race dominated by anyone more than that and not get the win.
It doesn't matter. Fast truck doesn't always win, but nonetheless, I just want to thank a lot of people because this truck is just a whim of mine. I woke up one morning, called Kerry Agajanian, and Mike Curb, obviously here in the rear quarters, Carl Wagner. We wouldn't be here without you, man. You are the man. Chevrolet helped us a bunch, Performance Fiction. Everybody involved. I mean, it's just it's pretty cool. I want to thank my dad. Dad, this is because of you driving the truck in Milwaukee. I mean, we went home, cut this thing up. It wasn't the same truck you drove. I wish you could have drove it. Pretty cool, though.
I guess you were a sitting duck, though, as the leader. When all those guys came down for tires, you had to be saying, oh, no.
Oh, well, who knows, you know. I mean, you hate to give up the track position. We probably would have won the race even if we would have put tires on. I just want to thank Joe Shearer, all the guys at Bruco, everybody that helps on this deal. It's pretty cool. It's still cool. We live in the greatest country in the world, and go George Bush.
Congratulations on a great race that he didn't win.
Speed Channel's coverage of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series post-race show is brought to you by Craftsman, the official tools of NASCAR and the NHRA.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all of our loyal fans for your continued support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.
Chad Chaffin celebrating his 2nd career victory in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Wife Cindy beside him, and standing by with his owner is Wendy Norris.
Bobby Hamilton came home 3rd, but more importantly, Chad Chaffin, your driver wins. That's 5 wins for Bobby Hamilton Racing.
Yeah, that's good for business. I mean, I'm just so proud of my people right now and all the support Dodge has given us. Dickies Corporation gives us all our jeans and work shirts and everything, and we try to support them as much as we can, but that's their 2nd race this year. Chad won one at Dover, and a lot of us, I stayed up their tail real hard, say, hey, you backed into that one with gas mileage. I want to see you win one. Well, he earned us Monday night because he flat won that when he took it from the 43. So Square D Dodge was good. Dickies Dodge was good. A good day for points, I hear. So, and more importantly for the 18. So it's a real good day. I'm real proud of all my people.
I was just telling Bobby Hamilton that he now leads the points by 5. Did you ever think that you were going to be looking at the points race at this point?
I hadn't been anyhow. I didn't know what they was going in or the week before. So
you honestly didn't look at the points before this weekend?
I didn't know, and I told my crew chief, I said, I don't want to know nothing about points. I just want to keep our nose to the grinding stone. You know, I have to sign the checks to this place and stand in the fab shop and work with these fabricators and stuff and just do what we all think's right as a group. So I don't have time to worry about that at this point.
All right, Bobby Hamilton, our points leader and the winning truck owner tonight. Ray?
Hey, Wendy, let's get one good word from Travis Quapple on that race. How do you describe it in one word?
Nuts, Ray.
That was definitely nuts. Wild, good time though, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I'm disappointed. I feel terrible for my Bang Racing group. We had a truck that was capable of winning the race. Johnny Sauter was kind of a sitting duck with fresh tires, and I was making my way up through there, or with old tires, and I was making my way up through their fresh tires, and he was using up all the racetrack the best he could to try and keep me back. And you know, I was trying to race him as clean as I could too. And he said afterwards, too bad I don't know how to wreck somebody. And I don't wreck people. You know, I thought I'd race him nice and clean. I knew I could pass him. But I'll just have to put that one in the bank and remember that for the future.
All right, Travis Kvapil, a winner a week ago, got his first win for Toyota. Another good night here at IRP.
Chad Chapin becoming only the second driver to ever only lead one lap in a victory, and it was 2 races ago David Starr who had done it the first time. Carl Edwards with a strong finish in 5th and also a strong finish in 10th.
Terrific job for Denny Hamlin. First ever Craftsman Truck Series race in the 03 truck with a top 10 finish. Terrific job.
Morgan Dollar teammates Kyle Busch and Dennis Setzer 11th and 12th.
Ted Musgrave in 25th, ran really good tonight and got caught up in Michael Waltrip's wreck, which kind of put him to the back.
Michael Waltrip first off the track when he had problems in turn number 1 and backed it into the wall. The 4 top 10 point standings have taken a little bit of a twist as Bobby Hamilton now moves on top. 5 points in front of Dennis Setzer. Carl Edwards 122 points out of the top spot. And look at Chad Chapin, teammate to Bobby Hamilton in 4th, just 138 points out.
Yeah, you really have to admire Bobby Hamilton as we watch the early wrecks here, but Bobby Hamilton quits the Cup Series and goes truck racing, and the guys are 1-2.
They're going to have a great point battle again this year. We're inside. We got 5 points from 1st to 2nd, and I think you're going to see those drivers from 3rd, 4th, and 5th move their way closer to the front also.
15th race of the season will be Nashville Super Speedway. That comes up next weekend, so make sure to join us live on Speed as the drama continues in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series.